try to get to the playoffs for the first time since coming to Lehigh Valley. We welcome you back to Breaking the Ice from our two-sport studio inside Chickies and Pete's at the PPL Center. Steve Degler along with Doug Eater, and we are thrilled to welcome all-star defenseman T.J. Brennan, the pride of Morristown, New Jersey. Thanks for taking the time. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me here. I'm excited.
Do these awards get old? I mean, another crystal engraving for you on Saturday night before the game.
Definitely can't say that. I'm always honored, especially at any personal achievements that have come my way. For myself, I think in the bigger picture, I'm trying to win a championship, and any personal achievements that come along are bonus and added in. But my goal is definitely focus on a bigger team event, and hopefully that's going to be coming this year. So.
Speaking of that, I mean, you know what it takes to get into the playoffs. What's been the message? What have you told some of these guys that haven't been there as far as trying to get over the hump and lock this thing up?
For myself personally, I think action speaks a lot louder than words. So, I try and lead by example. Sometimes if everything was as easy as just telling someone something and things work that way, I don't think we'd be where we're at. But it's a lot harder than it seems. So for myself, with the experience that I've been through and the difficult times and everything, I just try and lead by example and show through my play and, get through everything and try and relate to players that everyone goes through ups and downs. I've had my struggles throughout the season, but you got to keep persevering, keep having faith, and, get through stuff together. That's how we relate, is that everyone goes through ups and downs, and, we come together as a team.
When you were a youngster, you played for the Little Flyers. When you were in high school, you played in the Flyers Cup for Morristown High School. What was it like for you to sign that contract and join this organization?
It brings me back right to that moment, actually. It was, it was always in the back of my head. Just playing for the Flyers one day. It just kind of seemed like that I had to go through this path in order to learn all these lessons throughout my hockey career. And after my season last year with Toronto, it just felt like a disconnect, and I knew that chapter of my life was done. And I came home and spoke with my brother and was kind of confused on what was happening. I think that was supposed to be normal, that I wasn't sure what was happening next. And we were talking till early in the morning, about 3:30, and we were like, you know what? I think it's time to come home and play for the Flyers and start that process. And I think a few weeks later, I ended up signing a contract. And I knew that contract was a start, but I knew there was a mountain. There was so much more that was going to have to happen, and there was so much work that was ahead. And that's where my focus has been, is kind of knocking that down and doing this right and building this organization the way I believe it should be ran, and the way that I think Ed Schneider wanted it to be run. And being a part in it and having an influence in playing is it's such a big deal to me, and I take such pride in that.
Who was your favorite Flyer when you were a kid?
So Eric Lindros was huge back in the day. I grew up watching him in the 90s, but I have to say, I think a personal favorite was Dan McGillis. I feel like not many, unless you're a really, really passionate, detailed Flyers fan, that might not ring a bell, but he was number 3. 3 was always kind of like a family number, a number that I've had too as well. He had a good shot. He liked to hit guys. He was physical. And I met him one time, and he was a really nice guy. So I don't know. I just was kind of drawn to him. So.
You mentioned your brother, and in the piece that Christy Fulkerson did last week on the hockey life of T.J. Brennan, your brother was featured prominently. What is that relationship like between the two of you?
Wow. I guess before I get started, stop me if I get too deep here. I guess that word has so much weight and value to it. Someone that I call a brother, I take, that roots so deep for me. He's my brother, he's my blood, and we grew up with tremendous loyalty to our family and how much that word means to us. So having a brother that we come from the same place, we just grew up, we were yin and yang. So for myself, our paths were a little different, but we had the same goals, and always every day strive to be the best person that we could be, and obviously challenge and compete together. And we kind of agreed over the past few years, or last probably 5 or 6 years, to kind of live our life a certain way and to optimize our life every day and to become the best person that we can be and the best man that we can be. So we kind of relate that to our lifestyle and the business that we're trying to create. It's called Carefree Living, and it's kind of just going through life every day and living carefree. It's kind of being happy that we're all lucky to be here and really grateful. And I'm excited that at the end of the day, even if we lost the game or didn't make playoffs or anything like that, it's all fun that we're playing a game for a living, and that we're creating all of this out of our imagination.
You mentioned that you played up in Toronto. Obviously, that was kind of unique playing in Canada. Is there an arena, whether it's in juniors or in the AHL or in the NHL, that you really enjoy playing in?
You know what? To be honest, I know this is gonna sound corny, but I love this arena. My first game that I played here was this year, so I actually got healthy scratched when we came here last year with Toronto. The year before I was in Rockford and then got traded back to Toronto, so we never ended up, I think Toronto already played here, so I never had the opportunity to play here. And last year I had a bunch of family, like 40 or 50 people coming up to see me play since it's only an hour and a bit. And I had to make a call home that I was getting scratched, and my dad had a few choice words for the coach if he ever ran into him, but I wanted to make sure that never happened. But it was really nice that coming into this year that I didn't have an association, that I could build a positive association, and I have to say it's been phenomenal. The atmosphere and the energy that's brought to the games. My brother and my buddies came to the games on Saturday, and they're like, man, that is unbelievable in there. Just the energy that's created and the atmosphere is just fantastic, and it's obviously a beautiful building that creates such a dense atmosphere, and it's such a fun place to play.
You played 53 games in the NHL so far. Hopefully there's a lot more in there. Were any in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I played 2 games in Philadelphia. It was different. It was really different. I think a lot of anxiety, a lot going through my head. I think my situations weren't ideal, but I think as I've learned to grow from those and kind of learn how to mentally, prepare for those and kind of handle those as I hopefully get another opportunity. But I think I would just rather be on this side of it now and playing for the Flyers in that home state and that home atmosphere. But I've been lucky enough to be able to play in there in the arena and kind of growing up, so it was nice.
I saw video today of your first NHL goal with Buffalo, and I kind of the reaction that you gave is similar to some of the ones you give here after you scored, more like relief. Take us back to that time and what was going through your body.
And do this without getting emotional here. That whole moment, that time in my life was just amazing. I really think we're in search for these moments and experiences in our life, and not just through hockey. And I got called up the week before from Rochester, and I sat out in Carolina, but it was kind of just like nice to be acknowledged and that I could make it to the NHL. And I remember getting in trouble because I used to have Twitter back then, and I deleted it shortly after because I tweeted it out. My general manager told me I wasn't allowed to tweet it out, and I got in tons of trouble because the news wasn't supposed to come out till a certain time, and I was like, so I'm not allowed to be excited? Like, what? Anyway, so I ended up getting called up later, and my family always, amazing that they're like this, follows me wherever I am. We have Thanksgiving wherever I am, so it's nice to be back home this year. But they followed me up, and they were coming up to Rochester, and a couple days before they flew up, I told them with the great news that I got called up and that I was going to be up because someone was hurt for a while, so I was going to be up for a few games. And it was great news, but they had to change the flights around, or at least drive and kind of change some stuff around, but obviously happily they did. And everyone was there for my first goal, and just kind of having that feeling that my whole family was there to see me strive to get to this goal that I set from the earliest that I could remember. It just kind of all came out in one moment, and to be I think I've mentioned before, to be an influence on the game and have an impact and kind of be rewarded and recognized in that one moment, it kind of just all came together in that experience. And I couldn't even celebrate if I wanted to. It just was like I had this outer body experience, and I don't know, I remember Thomas Vanek punching me in the face, and my one really good buddy, Marc-Andre Grignani, was screaming at me, and I was just couldn't really grasp what was actually going on. So it was a phenomenal experience, and definitely chasing after experiences like that again.
I've heard you described as kind of a fourth forward out there. Have you always been a defenseman, or did you play some forward?
You know what? I'm not big on titles, so there's 5 guys that have to play forward and defense, wingers, centers. Everyone has to play forward and offense. So my philosophies on the game are maybe sometimes a little different than coaches, so I try to keep that to myself. But I try and see the game, and my life is opportunistic and positive. So when I see that, when I started, actually, I think I was a forward, but I think my first travel coach kind of turned me into a defenseman. He thought I would be a little more useful with a little more responsibility and maybe a little more effective. And I think I just never stopped. But a couple times throughout the years, I've actually played forward and transition. I think my second year in the league with the Portland Pirates, I played like 15 or 20 games at forward, and did pretty well. So I like seeing that perspective of things that actually help me play in defense as well. And it's nice to know the job titles and to understand how hard it is as a forward and as a defenseman, so you can kind of help and understand if someone's not doing something, or you can help them out.
All right, so you're from Jersey, so I'm going to ask you this: the best part and the worst part about living in New Jersey.
The best part is that's easy. I think it's probably the most undercover place to live. I think it's just more of this general area, and I definitely should probably be careful what I say. But I think it's just this area because you have two great, huge cities, Philadelphia and New York. You have the mountains that are close, you have the oceans, you just have anything that you could ever want, really. The only downfall is that you have 4 seasons and the weather can be 80 degrees one day and who knows, there could be snow tomorrow. So, I think that's a real positive. It kind of makes you look inward and make choices to be positive every day. I think the downfall is that I think New Jersey gets a really bad rep, and it's that stupid show, Jersey Shore, that just everyone's like, oh, you're from Jersey, everyone's from Jersey, and they go immediately to that because otherwise I don't think New Jersey has really much of an association. So I usually take some heat whenever someone says that stuff because it usually just piles on, but I'm like, you'll see.
Well, I know we're out of time. Has anybody ever told you that you look like the situation, that guy Mike from that show? Because I thought that the first time I met you, just so I'm going to get that out there. All right, there you go. So now you have even more
I'll take my shot. I'll take it.
Well, TJ, it's been a great pleasure watching you. Hopefully, there's a lot more games here this year as the fans make a big playoff run.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that the season's just getting started. The good stuff's coming.
Thanks for taking the time. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Defenseman TJ Brennan, our guest here on Breaking the Ice. When we come back, Doug and I wrap up this week's show, getting you set for the final week of the regular season, when we continue in just a moment.